From 6th of April 13, we have a new three-part statutory residence test. The first part determines situations in which an individual is automatically resident in the UK, and then there's a part which determines whether an individual is automatically not resident in the UK. If your situation can't be determined by either of these sets of rules, then we're going to look at what we call connecting factors or associated relevant ties. And what will happen here is that there are 4 or 5 factors that we take into account, and the more links you have with the United Kingdom, the fewer the number of days that you can spend here before you become UK resident. Those factors include things like your dependent family, your available accommodation, whether you've got a job here, whether you've spent more than 90 days here in a previous fiscal year, and whether you've spent more time in the UK than in any other country. But there are different rules depending on whether you're coming into the UK for the first time or whether you're trying to argue that you're leaving the UK and stopping being UK resident. The rules are certainly complicated and take up an awful lot of legislative space, but what we have now is a set of rules which we've never had before. So this is in my view, a huge development. We have a set of rules that are reasonably well defined, and it should be possible for most people to be able to apply the rules to their particular circumstances and determine their position without waiting for a clearance from HM Revenue and Customs or waiting for a person to take a view and have to apply some subjective rulings. So all of that has gone away, and to that end I think it's a big improvement. For many of the rules, under the old rules that we have up until 6th of April 13, employees often found themselves in a situation where if they were coming into the UK for a relatively short time on secondment, for example, they might not know until after they've left whether in fact they were resident here for any point of time. And that leads to a great deal of complication, particularly in the interaction with their home jurisdictions. Using these rules, we should be able to look forward and say that a person is or is not resident in a given year. What this means is that for employers and employees, it will be a lot clearer, and it should assist very much in the operation of their day-to-day running of their businesses. There is, however, an important point to think about, and that is that there are a few situations in which, where a person may have thought themselves to be not resident, they will now become resident under the new statutory test. And this is a very important point that people need to be aware of, and if they're in any doubt, then we should be reviewing their situation to make sure that we've got it all properly considered, and we've worked with their advisors in their home countries to make sure that all the double tax treaties and everything are all working together beautifully. For most clients, they won't really see any change. What we have is that where clients come to us for the first time when they're coming into the UK, we can be a great deal more certain about their position. If clients ask us for advice on leaving the UK, we can be very much clearer as to what they have to do to achieve non-resident status. For the few number of clients who are going to be affected, then, as I said, it's a question of understanding their position and making sure that they've understood the impact of it. For most people, it's being aware of the rules and having it in our minds when we plan, and the key thing is to be planning ahead.